a very long time, pretty much as long as I could remember, I wish I had an accent, a really cool accent. Because let's face it, the way I speak is pretty generic American. Most people, if they listen to it, would just go, oh yeah, America, of course. There's nothing special about the way I talk. Now, I do have a tiny bit left of my East Coast Vermont accent. It's a New England accent that's mostly common among the more redneck country-type folks, and I lived in the only thing that even slightly passes for a city in that particular state. I've been living on the West Coast since about 1995, so I've lost a lot of accent as I assimilated into, well, Seattle culture, where the accents are really generic. And now I live in San Diego, not too terribly different. We're not even getting that sort of like Valley Girl, California surfer dude accent. Like, oh my God, I mean, gag me with a spoon. Totally, as if that doesn't happen here. At least not that I've seen. So what have I retained of my Vermont accent? Simple. The letter T does not get pronounced. Unless, of course, it's at the start of a word. For example, it's not Vermont, it's Vermont. Vermont, like there's an apostrophe at the end. The capital isn't Montpelier, it's Montpelier. Seriously, my name is not Kate, it's Kate. See, that is something that has bugged a lot of people who are not from that particular region. There was a science teacher who would go, my name is not Mr. It's Mr. Belton. And we're like, yeah, Mr. Belton, of course. That's another thing. Mr. It's Missa Belton. Missa Belton, right. That's just something that we did there. Now, okay, sometimes if it couldn't be avoided, the T would sort of get pronounced as a D. For example, if something was attractive in a sort of cutesy way, we didn't say it was pretty. We said it was pretty. Pretty. That's a pretty nice thing. Pretty. Still, the T does not get pronounced. And here's something that would make some people absolutely lose their shit. Because, you see, Vermont is very, very close to Quebec, which is the French-speaking part of Canada. And nothing in Vermont gets pronounced like it's French. I mean, obviously, the capital of Vermont is Montpelier, or whatever the fuck it's supposed to be. In fact, I think the not pronouncing the T comes from being so close to the French speakers, but at the same time, nobody pronounces anything French-like. For example, last names. We had, in my class, or at least in school, I think one of them was younger than me, we had Bonnie Dubois and Jason Desjardins. Not even kidding. And when I said that to some folks, especially some folks from Canada, they were just like, brain explodey. It's hilarious to watch. I'm suddenly infested with lap kitties. Anyway, I always wished that I had some sort of really cool exotic accent, or even a different American accent. I mean, you've probably heard in some of my outros on my main channel where I do that sort of, hey, New York over here sort of accent, that sort of Italian gangster New Yorker kind of accent. I love that. I don't know why. It's probably because of all my Italian relatives. Or I wouldn't mind having, say, an Australian accent or a Scouse accent. In fact, just about anything that people don't associate with snooty or high class sounds like a cool kind of accent to have to me. But, of course, something I don't have. Given how much of my New England accent I lost while I was living in Seattle, I have to wonder, if I moved to somewhere like England or Australia or New Zealand or somewhere, would I slowly start to pick it up over time? So, pronounce the following words: aunt, roof, root, theater, iron, salmon, caramel, fire, water, New Orleans, pecan, both, again, probably, Alabama, lawyer, coupon, mayonnaise, pajamas, caught, naturally, aluminum, jiff, tumbler, crackerjack, doorknob, envelope. And there's another one here that's G-P-O-Y. It's all capital letters. I don't know what the fuck that is. Okay, now let's discuss some of these, because there's a few I got issues with. Okay, so the word is spelled A-U-N-T. Aunt. Not ant. Where'd that U go? It's not ant. And route is what you do to an enemy army. A route is the path you take. And caramel? There's another A in caramel. And I'm sorry, but pajamas just sounds goofy. They're pajamas. Okay, so I don't exactly have an issue with aluminum, but the word has a very interesting history. Because you see, it actually started out as aluminum, except in the United States, where it started out as aluminium. But now in Britain, they pronounce it and spell it aluminium, while here in the United States, it's aluminum. What happened was in 1812, this one dude's over in Britain, he said, hey, you know, aluminium has a more classical sound, so let's use that in preference to aluminum. But then somehow in the United States, aluminum caught on. I don't get it. It's weird, but it was kind of cool to look it up. Okay, here's one that's definitely going to start a few arguments. I'm sorry, guys, but the format is called GIF. Not GIF, GIF. The guy who invented it, the guy who wrote the fucking format, specifically named it after the peanut butter because the slogan of the peanut butter was Choosy Moms Choose GIF, and he went with Choosy Developers Choose GIF. That is the name of the format. I don't care if the G stands for graphics. Okay, there's other words that start with a G-I, like giraffe, that have a J sound, that have a soft G. And it's still weird to me that that's a soft G. The J sounds harder than G, but I don't know how they name that shit. Regardless, the format is called GIF. Get it right. Okay, there's a couple of other questions on here that you're supposed to answer, and one or two of them I'm like, did they say this differently in other places? But let's get started. So what is it called when you throw toilet paper on a house? Well, you're either toilet papering it or you're TPing it. Is there something else you might call it? Are there certain parts of the country where they only say TP and others where they only say toilet paper? Because I learned it both ways. What is a bubbly carbonated drink called? It's a soda. Pop is a nickname for dad or what weasels do in songs. It's not fizzy sugar drinks. And don't even get me started on those weirdos who call everything Coke. Hey, what kind of Coke do you want? A Pepsi? What do you call gym shoes? They're sneakers. What do you call your grandparents? Well, not much. They're, well, dead. But when they were alive, Grandma and Grandpa. Now, one thing that kind of pissed me off, to the other cousins, Grandpa Tony was Pop Pop. And I'm like, hey, no, no, no. I'm the oldest cousin. I get to choose what Grandpa's called. What do you call that wheeled contraption in which you carry groceries at the supermarket? It's a shopping cart. I hear British people call it a trolley, but no, a trolley is like one of those little one-car trains. That's a trolley. And last, what is that device that you use to change the channel on a television with? It's a remote, or a remote control. I don't know where the fuck you people got clicker, but stop that. So that's my entry into the accent challenge. It's something I've been meaning to do for quite some time and just never got around to it. But lately, for some reason, I've been really even more than usual wishing I had a cool accent, and I don't. And well, it just sort of spiraled into this after posting about it on Facebook and chatting with people about accents. And I just felt, hey, let's make a video out of it. So, until next time, fellow space travelers.